Hi children, welcome to Eclit Learning. So this is the video for chapter 5 of grade 7 and this is the second part of it. So if you haven't watched my previous videos for grade 7, you can watch them. And I have done first part for grade 5 also, so you can watch that as well where we discussed about control structures, right? So this is the second video for program development, chapter 5. So yeah, so here in this video, we are basically discussing about Scratch programming and we are doing practical examples also here. So Scratch is a visual program development software. Please note, real programming means like not only this, like you can use some kind of a language like C Sharp, Java, and you can develop real softwares also. So, but this is given as some kind of a starting point where you can understand program concepts visually, right? So this is very interactive and you can do a lot of things, right? So very interesting thing. So you can try this. Definitely, you have to install Scratch and practically do it. Otherwise, just reading the book or just watching my video, you won't get the real experience. You have to download this software and install it and try to do it yourself, right? Then only you will understand the real concept of programming, right? Okay, so this is a free and open source software where you don't have to pay any cost for the license. It's free and you can legally download and use it, right? So you can go to this particular website. I have mentioned this, especially the download link, where it ends with the word download under the description box. So you can go to there and based on the requirement, like whether you are using Windows or Mac OS like that, you can go and download it for the particular platform and you can just run the exe file and install it, right? So here they are mainly talking about Scratch 2.0 version. So when you install a software, you have to be have some idea what is the version you are using, right? So the latest version is not 2.0. I have used the latest version, kind of 3.18. So the UIs and some of the features will be bit different than the mentioned one. I have purposefully done that because always softwares will evolve, right? So don't try to download Scratch 2.0 itself and try to do it because they have improved. They have added new features. They have resolved some of these bugs and all. So always go for the latest edition where it's more more like better. Right? It's better to use the latest version of a software. So I have used latest version. So some things will be bit different, but the concept is the same, right? So if you go and install, and you can, when you open, you have to double click that particular shortcut icon, and when you open this up, you will see something similar to this, right? So this is the Scratch 2 version, right? So here you have the stage where you can see a cat, right? Okay, we call these things as sprite. So here you have the menu bar and here you have some cursor tools, right? So here you will have the sprite list like the uh, pictures kind of things, right? Animators, right? So here you have block palette. So this is the most important thing because adding blocks is how you do the programming here. Okay. And we have the script area also. So in the cursor tools, you can do different things for the blocks you add. You can duplicate, you can delete, shrink, grow. Shrink means you can make it small, make it big, like that. I will explain with the picture in the book, textbook. So this is for Scratch 2 version. So, but when we really do in the software, we'll use the um, latest version, right? So stage is very important because stage is the place where the sprite will move. So I told this cat-like picture is called as sprite. So you can maximize your stage, right? And this there is something called green flag and a red circle. So when you after you write your program, you can always start and run your program, right? If you want to stop, you can click the red button, right? So the sprite is here, right? So here you can see the XY coordinates. So if you see, it's like the normal mathematical XY coordinates we are talking about. So this is 0, 0 point. So if you want to move the sprite into this direction, you have to tell some coordinate from here, like 10, 10, 20, 20, 20, 30, like that. Then it will move to this direction. But this side here, x is negative. So if you want to move to this side, you have to tell minus 30, 50, like that. Then it will move to here. This side is x and y both are negative coordinates. So if you put minus 20, minus 30, it will move to this direction. And if you want to move to this direction here, only y is negative. So x should be positive. So if you put something like 20 minus 30, it will move to this particular direction. Change your sprite and backdrop. So sprite is this one, right? So you can have different sprites as well as you can change the backdrop. That means the background picture of the stage also. So there are separate libraries for sprite and the backdrop. At the same time, you can use your own stuff as well. So as I discussed, block palette is very important. So here the blocks are classified and they are under tabs, right? So if you see the motion, look, sound like that, they have different kind of blocks where with different colors. So you can clearly see when you add it to the stage, when you add these blocks to the stage, you can easily see what's going to happen. And this is the script area, right? So this is the place you have to develop your program. So you have to drag and drop these blocks and develop your program. So for the start, like, shall we do this one? Yeah. So this is a very easy thing, right? First of all, this is my Scratch environment. Okay. So these are the blocks I talked about. This is the stage, right? This is the sprite I talked about. So from here you can go and get different kind of sprites. And if you want from here, you can select different kind of backgrounds or backdrops also. So from here you can drag and drop, right? These block elements. Okay. And this is where you run your program and this is where you stop your program. Okay. And here this is the place where you have I told you the different kinds of categories are available, right, for the block. And this is the block palette, and there you can see different kind of blocks are classified based on different um, categories, right? So please note there's new thing called extensions, right? If you click here, you can add them. I will talk about these things because music and pen extensions are needed when you try to do the examples mentioned in your textbook, right? Because in version 2, it was just here, right? So, but in latest version, it's in a different thing. So you can double click them like this and add it. It's related to the music things and pen movements and all, right? So these extensions should be added separately. So that's a small difference between version 2 and this one. Okay. Yeah. So now all these programs should be started when you click this go button, right? So for that one, you should have this under events, you have something called when this flag is clicked, because we are going to click this. Then only this program is starting to play, right? So we'll do the same example mentioned here. Okay, right? This one. So here they have used, can you see there's something called repeat, right? So that means you're going to do the same thing for 10 times, which is inside this yellow color block. You're going to do it 2 times. So under control, you have something called repeat. So this number you can change. You can put 5 or something like that. You are going to repeat only 5 times, right? So inside this block, you have to put what you want to do for multiple times, right? So please no check. So this is for the music stuff and this is for sound. There are two things. So here they are telling play note uh, for some time. So notes are not here. That's a small difference in the new version. It's under music, right? So play note for this much of beats and is under music. So it's having a different color for you, but it's the same thing. So they're asking you to play this particular 60 note for this much of time. So in the book, it's zero point 0.5. You can change these things, right? And then rest also comes from here. So this is a small difference. In your one, it's purple in the book 2.0, but in the latest version, they are under music tab. How we got music tab using the extensions. You go to here and click it, then you will get that particular block. Okay, then this will be happened 5 times, and then they are asking you to do the set instrument thing. So set instrument is also coming under music. It's under the block. Understood? So if you play this, you can listen to different notes are playing. So for example, then after doing this, you have to click this. Then you can listen what is happening. So what will happen is this play note will happen and will rest. Play note will happen, will rest. Like that, this thing will happen, this block will happen 5 times. And then it will set the instrument to piano. So here from here you can select different kind of instruments. So in the earlier version it was just a number, but here they have mentioned what is the musical instrument you are going to use. So you can play this and see. Okay. So these notes will be played using the piano sound, right? Okay, so that's how this is really going to happen. So these blocks will have different kind of commands. I will quickly explain what these are, but when you're really going to do it, only you will understand what's really happening, right? So I can go for new one using this. You can replace it and then you will get a new um, place to work. Okay. So this is motion, right? So motion will have blocks which is related to movements, right? From these things, you can move your sprite. For example, um, you can have the first always you have to start with this event, right? And then you can tell you have to go to this particular x and y coordinate, right? 0, 0 means in the middle, right? In the mid, it should be in the middle because xy coordinates were like this. Then they're asking you can move to the 100 steps. Okay. So then if you go and start this, you can see this sprite was starting here from 0, 0 and was moving 100 steps. So similarly, we have looks, right? Under looks, you have things related to the communication among the sprites, like say hello, say hello for some time and think and switching costumes, different kind of acts like that, right? So I'm not going to do all these things mentioned here, so you can try them. Small examples, right? So basically, you can start with when flag clicked, and you can drag this and see. So here next come the sounds, right? Sound is basically having now in the latest version, it's having only kind of like sounds related things, sounds and sound patterns. But if you want to work with musical instruments, you have to have the separate thing with music like this. Okay. And then you have pen. Pen also you have to add from the new extensions. So it's related to the colors and tools related to drawing various shapes and all, right? Then there's nothing called data in the latest version. It's variable. So it's basically having relating things to variables. I will talk about what is variable later. And then comes the events. So from the events, this one is very important. We always start with this, right? So other than that, you have keys pressed based on your keyboard keys. You can program. Okay, so when the sprite is clicked, you can do different things. Okay, these are the events. Then comes the control, right? These are the control structures. We also discussed last time about sequential selection and repetition. So those things can be done using control thing. Okay. Then comes the sensing, right? So sensing you can use for kind of receiving inputs, right? Especially this ask thing, we'll use this one and see, you will understand what really happens there. Then comes the operators, right? This is basically for the mathematical operation, addition, subtractions, picking random numbers. For those things, we can use this section. So yes, just by looking at this won't help you much, but you can do all these small examples mentioned here. For example, they are this movement we have done. Next thing, when you click this one, it will say, "Hello, can I win?" for 2 seconds, and then again it's thinking, "No, I am the winner." Like that. So small programs you can do it. So here it's about with sound, right? So when with any key press, you can play in the drum sound for some time, right? Where for the drum, where for sometimes with the notes and all, so you can do it like that. And using the pen, you set your pen the writing color to red and pen down and move 50 steps. So like that, you can try these things before starting the real examples. So I show you how to create a program. It's very easy, right? You have to first open up your Scratch software by double clicking the icon. And then you have different kind of command blocks, right? They are under different tabs. So you have to select those blocks and drag these command blocks and drop into the script area, right? And then you can develop the program accordingly and save the file and run the program. Yeah, before saving also you can run it and see. But finally you can save it like this file, save to your computer, and you can give a name and location to save your file. So this managing blocks also, if you right click on these blocks, you can duplicate this or you can add a comment for your future reference, or you can just delete them as well, right? Okay, so firstly, they are talking about sequence, right? Sequence means one after the other, right? So there's not very hard to think about, but these blocks will be executed sequentially, right? So, for example, here they are going to do a program where you start and you select an instrument. So any instrument can be selected as I earlier show you, and then you play different kind of notes, play note 60, 62, 64, 65, like that, and you then stop it, right? So for example, if I show you this one, you have to definitely have the music section if you are going to do with the latest scratch version. For that you have to get from the extensions, right? I'm repeatedly saying, because otherwise you will not find the latest in the latest edition. You won't find this music thing in the sound section. So if you don't get it, you will just stop from there onwards, right? That's why I'm repeatedly. So let's start. So from the events, you take this, right? You just drag and drop. And then you have to set your instrument. For that, you have to use the music one, set the instrument. So they are selecting piano. You can select any musical instrument from here. You just have to click it here. Okay. And then you have to play the note. Play the note also will be in the green section. No, it's not purple now, right? So if you want, you can just duplicate this like this. Okay, rather than always dragging and dropping, you can duplicate. We'll change the notes. So if these things were clicked, you will hear the sound because it's going to play this. So yeah. So it start with 60 and you can change this to 0.5. 5. So here the note is from here also you can select. So here it should be 0.5. So here it's next one. I'll quickly select this. Okay, and the sounds also you can the beats for time. So I will just keep it like this. So this is the first exercise. So you play this, you can hear very nice musical instrument is playing. This is where we use piano. You can select different instruments and check how these notes are played. The first example. Hope it's very clear. Then second example, they are basically talking about um, days of the week, how to get this done, right? So here I will explain the flow chart. You start and you say days, Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday like that. So that's the basic program. You can start a new thing. Okay, always you start with the current event from here, and then it's about saying stuff, right? So say things will come under looks, communication things, right? So you drag and drop this. You can change this hello word to the days of the week for 2 seconds, and we can duplicate the same thing like the earlier one. It's very easy. Otherwise, you can drag and drop for the whole 7 days. But for easiness and for the quick thing, I'm doing duplicate. Okay, so instead of Sunday, we have to change this to Monday, sorry, Tuesday, Saturday. So if you click this Sunday, Monday, it will happen within 2 seconds. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It will wait for 2 seconds after doing this, right? And hope you understood. I'm doing it bit in a hurry because I want to explain everything for you. Yeah, then comes the variables. So variables are actually used to store values in the memory for temporary. Variables are very important in programming. First, yeah, at first time, yes, it will be a bit hard to understand, but if you get the concept, mark my words, this will be used in every single program you are going to use, right? So variables are very important. So they are giving an example, right? They have used some two glass vessels and they have put some liquids there, right? So you can change liquid in A to B, B to A, like that you can change it. Similarly, you can change the variable values also. For example, now here they have another C vessel. So initially they had some liquid in A vessel, so they put it to C vessel. Then this B vessel liquid is put back to um, A, right? Then the liquid in C was put it back to the B vessel, right? So the vessels are used to store the liquids. Similarly, you can use variables to store your um, values, right? So these vessels, which is named as ABC, can be considered as variables, and the liquid can be considered as the values. So usually when you write the variables, variable name is written like this. So name is equal to Amara, age is equal to 12, something like that. Okay. So you can change your values also. So here it's maths is having 60 marks, science is having 79 marks. But you can interchange this as well, right? So that's what they are using with a new variable. You have marks. So maths marks is assigned to the marks, and science is assigned to maths marks, and these marks values which was having the maths marks was assigned back to science. So then the values will be switch. Okay, so then maths will be 79 and science will be 68. Okay. So here they have told how to build variables also. So you can run the Scratch program, and you can select here it's data command block in the earlier version, but now in the latest version it's called variables itself. So you have to select that, and you can have a variable, and That's how you are going to work. We'll do it and see rather than just telling how to do it, right? So here they have given you some example, right? So from the variable section or the data section, you can get this variable, right? So here set name to 0, right? So here name is the variable name, right? And you can apply this to all sprites or only for this particular sprite also. So this value you can change, right, with different values. Okay. So then here they are going to discuss how to develop programs with variables, right? So first one, it's about creating two variables, right? So always remember when you are going to do the programming by looking at the examples, first rather than copying what it is having in the book itself, just think a bit, right? How I'm going to do this. Okay. First have some answer in your head, right? And then you just go and check the real example they have done. Okay. So here they are telling we need two variables which will store two numbers, and they want to get multiply those two and get that value into another variable. Okay, so that's what they are going to do. So small I will quickly explain what's really happening. So you have to create two variables for n1 and n2 for the numbers, and for the multiplication answer you have to keep another one. Okay, and then you have to get the first value from the user, assign it to n1. That means you pass that value to n1 variable, and then you take the second value from the user, and then you have to assign it back to the n2 variable, right? So n1 and n2 you have to multiply and get the answer, and then you have to assign back to the a new variable mar. Okay, then finally you are going to display the value which is stored under multiplication, right? And one more important thing, students, when you are naming your variables, right? In maths, normally variables means x, y, z, a, b, c, like that. But because of that practice, most of the students, when they are writing their programs, they use a, b, c, d like that English letters. But make sure when you're using the variables, have some meaningful name. Here it's okay to have n1 and n2 because those are numbers, but better to have number one, number two, or num1, num2, like that. Because then anybody know these are two numbers. Okay. So multiplication, yes, you can multiplication itself, word can be used, but don't use very long variables, but always try to have meaningful variables. That practice is very important because when we are developing software as my profession, it's a must to do it kind of, because otherwise it's very hard to maintain. What do you mean by maintain? Now you do some programming today and you just close it and keep it, but in the real enterprise level application, when you're developing them, you will code today and you will leave, right? So somebody else will come and try to fix the bugs. I will tell what is bugs, problems of your software. So when they come and try to fix bugs, oh my god, nobody understand your code. Why you have put a, b, c, x, y, z, those things, nobody knows what the hell is this. Okay, so that's why it's very important to have it's very important to have very meaningful names for your variables. So anybody can understand by reading, just reading, because these are, even if you use other languages like programming languages like C Sharp and Java, they are very like English. If you practice that, if you know the syntax and all, it's very easy to just read and see what's happening, right? So to make it more readable and to make it more maintainable, you have to make sure you are using very meaningful names for your variables, right? Okay, shall we do this? Okay, you start with a new one, right? You can always save this, right? I'm not talking that, but the exercises you are doing, you can go and save it always, right? So if you have problems, you can get it clarified. Okay, you start with your event, right? And then yes, there is a asking thing. Asking means sensing, right? Sensing. You get the inputs. So you ask, what is you are going to ask? Hmm? You have to get the first number. So you can tell enter first number or first value, something like that. Okay. Then you have to set this value you get from your input to a variable, because user will put now a number like 5. You have to store it in your variable, right? So this is a variable section. So here you can make different kind of variables with different names. For example, now we need n1. You can use for all sprites or only for one. So that n1 will be created here with its value. So n1 will be created with its value. And here also you can see. So if you tick this, it won't be showing. If you want to take, you can get this, right? So you want another variable with n2, and you want to have another variable with name mul or multiplication. There are three variables. Okay, understood? Then you use this block to set the value. So when the user enter the first number, you have to set it to n1. So what you are going to set? N1, is it N1 0, or this user input should be saved here? Yeah, user input should be saved here. So this answer is under sensing. So this block you can drag and drop here. So you are telling ask the first number from the user, and that particular answer you have to set it to N1, right? This same thing I can duplicate again. Okay. So then I'm telling now is not the first number, you have to enter the second number. And here it should be N2. So you get the second number as the answer, and then you assign it back to the N2. Right? So again, then you have to set another thing. Now we have two numbers N1 and N2. We have to set them to multiplication. So we have to get N1 and N2 and add them. Then only I'm going to set it to multiplication. So for this we can use operators, right? So for multiplication, now when you drag it like this, can you see this circle becomes different? Then when it is different only you can have to put. Otherwise it won't go and fix them. So this is the multiplication one. So for the multiplication, we are going to have n1. See, it's when it is changed only you have to put. Otherwise it won't fix there. N1 and N2. So you take N1 and N2, you multiply and set it back to here, right? Then you have to say the answer, right? So say, and not hello, you have to say some join thing like here. From the operators, there is something called join. So drag and drop, you have to tell join answer. So you have to tell my answer is, or something like that. My answer is it banana, or the multiplication answer you have to give? Multiplication answer you have to give. So under variables, again, you have to come and take this multiplication value. So you are telling my answer is, and tell the answer where you got here, right? Okay, we'll play and see. Enter first number. You are going to give the input here, 2, and you click this. Can you see N1 is now 2? Okay. Then they're asking enter second number. because you told like that. And wait until you give the input. So you tell it's 3. So you are going to get 2 into 3, 6. Multiplication is 6, and hope you saw it. Let me try again the same thing. My answer is 6. Understood? So that is how this is going to work. Hope you understood the concept, right? Yeah, then they are going to discuss about calculating perimeter and area of a rectangle. Hope you know this calculation in maths, how to do it. In a rectangle, perimeter means you have to go through the whole 4 sides, right? You have 2 lengths and 2 sides. So either you can add length and side, length and width, and multiply by 2. There are different ways to calculate, like, so basic idea is that. So area means always length into width for a rectangle. So first, the mathematically you should be familiar, right? Otherwise, it will be a bit hard. So you have to start your program, and you get the length from the user, you get the width from the user, and you have another variable called perimeter. So for that, this is a one way. You take the length, multiply by 2, width into 2, like that. Okay, there are different ways. Either you can add length and width, and then you multiply by 2. Both are correct. Ne? Okay, then area is length into width, and you display your perimeter and your area. Understood? So shall we quickly do this as well? Yeah, take the events when clicked, and then you have to sensing, you have to ask enter, always tell enter the length, and you wait, right? Then you have to take a variables. Few variables are needed. We'll quickly prepare all them. They have used L for length, but better to use length itself wording, right? I prefer that, but I will use the same thing what they have mentioned. W for width, right? And you create another variable for your perimeter. Perimeter, they have full perimeter, yes. And then you have to have another one for the area. So these are the 4 variables we should have. 4 variables done, right? Then you set, right? First you have to get the length. So for enter the length, then you have to put it to the L, not the other things. You take the length, then you have to put it to the length variable. And for the answer only you have to put, not 0. Right? You have to take this answer and put it to the L thing, right? So I will duplicate this block again. Okay, so instead of enter the length, we have to tell enter width, right? And that answer should be kept in W. Okay. So after you take length and width, you have to calculate the area and the perimeter, right? So perimeter, you are going to calculate how you have to take the length and multiply it by 2, add it with width into 2. So basically the main operator is the addition. So you take the addition first, right? So in addition, there are 2 parts where you multiply. So in the first block, it's another multiply, and here it's another multiply. Do you understand? So here it should be length into 2. So this one is just 2. You can just type it, right? Here it's width and you have to multiply by 2. Understood how I did it? And area is very simple. It's just a multiplication. Area is set to multiplication where it should be length into width. So length and width. Length and width you have to multiply. Okay, so you have the values now. So you can just uh, get the values printed, right? Say, and there's another say, we have to say area and length both, and join has to be used for the concatenation of the strings. So first you tell um, perimeter is, so here you have to put the perimeter variable value, isn't it? So you have to add this. And here you are telling area is, and then here you are going to add the area, right? Okay, we'll see how to play this. Enter length, you will think it's 3. Enter width, you will enter 5, 3 and 5. So 3 and 5, area will be 3 into 5, 15. Perimeter should be 3 and 5, so it should be 16, right? Perimeter is 16, area is 15. So it will tell area and perimeter values. Okay, yeah. So this one is about change the size of the spirit uh, from 10 to 100. That is the size you are going to at a random value. So you are going to develop a random numbers, and based on that you are going to change the size of your sprite. Additionally, you are changing the color of the sprite as well, right? So you set the size of the sprite to 100%. You get a value of randomly you are taking between 10 to 1 to 10, and then you adjust your um, sprite size and the color and play a sound as well. Okay, shall we try that? So on the events, you add this. Then you have to set size to 100%. Set size to 100%. That means always your sprite will be for the initial position. Then you set, you have to have a variable called x, right? So then you set your variable to an initial value where it should be a random. So you can pick random from the operators and tell you pick a random number between 1 to 10. That means 2, maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe 7. It is random. You don't know what the number you are going to select. Right? Then you are going to change the size of the sprite by a multiplication of x. So for that you have to have an operator with multiplication, right? So variables you can use x into, sorry, see whether if you don't select it properly, it will not go to the expected place. X into 10, and you change the color of the sprite also with the effect of x. If you get X as 7 or something, it will be changing color based on that. And then you have to play your drum. If you want to see the how it works, just click on it. Then it will play and show you what's really happened. So it's a play drum, right? You can select any drum you want and then you tell it. Okay. So we'll quickly play and see. See, it's going big, down. It depends because the number is random. Okay, and it will change the color also. Yeah. Then comes the bugs. I told this word earlier. So bug means errors of the program, right? When you're developing programs, you are human, so definitely you are going to do errors. That's not a problem. In a real professional environment also, there are bugs and there are separate professionals to find bugs. We call them quality assurance engineers, right? QA. So QA people will find bugs, right? Developers will fix the bugs. So no worries, right? So when you develop programming, you will have fine. You will definitely have bugs, and then elimination of such bugs are called debug. You have to debug the code and try to find the bugs and fix it. Okay. So these unexpected problems or the errors will lead to a good program. So you have to find the bugs and fix them. Then only the program will run properly. Okay. So to eliminate of bugs is also very important because first of all you have to identify the root cause for the bug. Right? Bug can be happen maybe you not having the proper order of the instructions, maybe you omit, you didn't get that block itself, or you didn't have correct variables mentioned, you have assigned values to wrong variables, different things, right? So you have to eliminate, you have to fix the bugs carefully, right? So here there is a program with bugs and without bugs. Basically what they are doing is they are creating a rectangle. So I will not do this from the beginning. Okay, so this is my example, right? I will just explain what it is. You take it, you take this first one as usual when flag is clicked. I have used this one to erase all because it will reset. If you don't have that, always they will do the rectangle again, do the rectangle on this stage continuously. So therefore, I use this erase all. You can get it from the pen block. Here, erase all. So it will clean up your stage. You can always do it. So then they set the color of the pen and the size and they go to the XY coordinate 2020. 2020 means something from here, right? Then they get the movement like 90 degrees going down and then move 200 steps again to 90 degrees because you are drawing a rectangle, right? You wait for 2 seconds, again 100, again 90 degrees you turn and you move. So this 200 is your length, 100 is your width. Understand? So you are drawing those blocks. And then you take the pen up and you go to this position where x is minus. That means this part. Okay. So we'll run and see. See, it moved to here because x is minus in this side. Understood? So that's how you draw a rectangle. But if you miss at least one step, now if you want, I will quickly show if you want to make it a square, what you have to do? You have to make this 100 become a square. So bugs means what? The omitting some transactions. See, now here some instructions were omitted. 90 degrees is omitted. And then you won't get this particular thing. Some degrees you can change it wrong way, right? Then this is not going to happen as the expected. Okay. I'm not changing the existing program, but if you omit these things, yeah, you will not get the expected result. It will be like this. Okay, so you have to eliminate your bugs. So that's the end of the chapter, right? It's a big chapter, kind of, and it's very new things. I know sketch development cannot do within 1 hour, right? So as a help, I was thinking something like this. So if you want to get extra knowledge with me, like one-on session, more like 1 hour, 2 hour more session, and do more exercises with me. Uh, I'm really there to help you, but please note it will be charged because it's an extra thing I'm going to do. So if you want to arrange some Scratch learning online classes with me, you can comment here or you can directly contact me using the Facebook page. I will share that also in the description box so you can send a message to there. So we can arrange 1 hour, 2 hour sessions and we can practically do it itself, right? So then you will get the real thing also. So it's some additional thing as a help because I know Scratch development you cannot get it at once. So if you get this at once, it's very important because this is like the foundation for your programming knowledge, right? Yeah, so that's the end of the thing. We'll quickly go with the summary, right? So here we talked how we should do the program development. You have to always decompose a complex problem into small things. Then it's easy to handle. And we learned about three control structures: sequence, selection, and repetition, right? And sequentially is not very hard. It's just step by step, right? In order. But selection means based on a condition, you are going to make a decision whether you are going into the yes path or the no path. And then comes the repetition also, right? So repetition is where you do the same thing again and again until the condition fails. So then comes the flow chart. It is very important because that algorithm you can represent it graphically. Then we learned about Scratch, right? It's an open source program. And we learned different command blocks and we used uh, few of them, but not all the control structures. It's more things you have to work on, right? So then we used variables to store values, right? So bug is an error in a program. So always you have to eliminate your bugs and it's called as debug, right? Okay, so that's the end of the chapter. Hope you got a lot of things from here. So you can start your own Scratch programming. And if you want some additional help with me, you can directly contact and arrange some online classes also with me for, especially for this Scratch development, uh, because I know cannot cover whole thing within this small video clip. Yeah. Thank you very much. So if you haven't subscribed my channel, please do subscribe now and press the bell icon as well. And please do comment. Those matters me a lot. Uh, Thank you very much.